You know, the Nets traded for Darren Williams. I'll never forget. I was like, oh, because first off, you recall, came out of nowhere. When they got him, I'm like, oh my God. They just got, like, the best point guard in the league. Which, honestly, it's what I felt at the time. I loved his game. Just thought he was unstoppable. He was strong. He could back it down. He could take it to the basket. He shot the three well. I just thought he did it all. When we got him, now if you remember, Net fans, my 6 of you, if you recall, we were in heavy pursuit of Carmelo Anthony. And that was thrilling to think that we can get him. Disappointing when we didn't. But a few days later, we get Darren Williams, and I'm like, dude, we got the better player. I was telling everybody, we got the better player. Point guards are way more valuable than the swing guy and the small forward, and And then, of course, the last 3 years, I've been a fool for stating that because Carmelo has been a legitimate superstar and D. Will has been brutal. Except the last month or so, boy, does it look like Darren Williams is playing like Darren Williams of his Utah days. I mean, he was utterly brilliant tonight. Confident and doing everything. I mean, scoring off the dribble, taking his guy to the rack, fadeaways, pull-ups, threes, 31 points, 13 of 25 from the field. And most of his shots were good shots. Only had 6 assists. 3 turnovers. You don't like to see that many from your point guard. But, boy, what if, Net fans, what if we got the guy we thought we got? Look at what he does when he is the Darren Williams that we paid $100 million for. Now, got to give credit to Brook Lopez. I mean, he really likes playing Dallas. It's the second time in 2 years he's got 38 against them. 15 of 22, 11 boards, and the biggest board was the miss. Darren took one of his bad shots he took. He grabs that rebound late and stuffs it in for a big putback. 38 points, 11 boards. This is a big win. I mean, a win I absolutely did not expect. And after the first quarter, I'm like, yeah, I expected to get blown out of the ballgame. Of course, if you haven't figured out by now, I'm more of a pessimistic Net fan. I'm a glass half empty. Openly admit it. It's only because of my years of rooting for the Nets and being disappointed. And this year, as we stated on an earlier show, my hopes were sky high when we put this roster together before the season started. I was bragging, I was confident, boastful that this team, I would get offended if somebody said, yeah, they're pretty good, they'll make the playoffs. I'm like, make the playoffs? I'd argue with my neighbors, make the playoffs. This is a top 4 team in the East, dude. This ain't we're going to make the playoffs team. It's a top 4 team. This is what I would argue. And then, for the last several months, I've been looking like a fool. Although, amazingly, as poorly as they've been, they really have held on to the top 4 spots. They're the 4 seed right now. Which, again, I have to give them credit. But I also, let's be honest, guys, that the East is just brutally inconsistent. There are so many, Chicago is so inconsistent. Atlanta, Milwaukee, even Indiana is all of a sudden a little weird. We know the Knicks are strange, so. But anyway, let's talk about tonight because I think it's a very big win. Because to me, there's no shot at them winning in LA. I don't think there's a shot at winning in Portland. And Utah was susceptible. And they lost to, I don't know who they lost to. It was they wore New York on their jerseys, but who played for the Knicks? So maybe you beat Utah, and you beat Cleveland, and you come away with 4 wins instead of going 3-5, which is what I thought you would go. I think the biggest key to this game, and how could you argue it, 9 turnovers for the entire game. I mean, we've had quarters. Hold on, battery's going low. We've had quarters where we've turned the ball over 9 times. So 9 turnovers for the game was key. Reggie Evans, where would the Nets be without Reggie Evans? I mean, because Lopez doesn't rebound. He had 11 tonight, but normally he doesn't. Where would they be without Evans? 22 boards tonight, and some big ones. I mean, the guy, he doesn't even have great athleticism. He doesn't even, jump very well. He is just, he's just strong. He gets himself into great positions. Evans is really, he is such an important role player for this net team. Joe Johnson, I tell you, I text this to my buddy Jimbo. Starting to dislike Joe Johnson, man. I got, halftime he's got 2 points on 1 of 6 shooting, goes 4 for 12. The guy, here's the craziest stat of the night. He's a plus 23 while he's on the floor. He's a plus 23, and he got 9 points. Joe, you got to help out, man. Joe, you got to be more of a stud. I know he made a couple of big shots late, so you give him a pass. My theory is you got to have 5 guys play well. And if you throw Blatche, again, Blatche was great. 6 of 7, 14 points, 4 boards. By the way, the first ESPN win for the Nets this year. It's their first one. It's their 5th game on ESPN, the first time they've won. So it was good to see. I know my buddy Brett down in Florida got a chance to see the Black. Of course, he's probably saying, what the hell is Bobby talking about? His team looks great. Because they end up winning by 17. But listen, Dallas is, they're not an upper echelon team. They're not a great defensive team. They're a very poor defensive team. But great win. Because, like I had mentioned, I believe that the next couple are pretty much in the bag losses. If you happen to ever beat LA, if you win in Portland, you win in Utah, I'll be impressed. I just don't see it. I don't see. Again, Utah doable. Clippers not even don't even want to entertain the thought of having a shot in that game because LA can just do so many things that we can't. Big win. Very strange. Talked to my buddy Jimbo about this too. We are so much better on the road. We respond on the road. We take hits on the road. And, we come back. We're down 10 in the first. I know it's early first quarter. We're down 10, but, we instantly answer that with a terrific second quarter. And for some reason at home, we just fold. This is a bet. Do we really want to finish in the top 4 to have home court advantage? I don't know. The team, I feel more confident when they're wearing their black jerseys. Maybe they should wear their black jerseys when they're in Brooklyn. Maybe that'll be something. Love the Lopez-Blatche combination. Obviously, PJ needs to do more of it. Wallace still cannot finish. I don't think. What did he do tonight? Although I love that. He had 4 steals tonight. No. Check that. 5. This is why I love Wallace. He had 5 steals tonight. Believe me, I'm feeling you if you're out there and you're cursing at him because he simply cannot score. But 7 points, 5 steals. I love Wallace. He gives you an effort. Bogans actually shot the ball well today. 3 for 6, made 3 threes. He had 9 points, so he helped too. Big win. Let's see what happens. Again, to me, the rest of this trip now. You got 6 games left. Wow. If you can go 3-3, oh my God. You're talking a 5-3 road trip. No, I'm sorry. What am I saying? They're 2-0. Yeah, no, is that right? 2-0, 6 games left. Yeah. If they can go 3-3, they'll be 5-3. Wow, pretty good at math, man. I'm getting impressive in my old age. 5-3 is I'm expecting 3-5, so I'll be happy at 4-4. Now, of course, if they have a game where they got a lead and they lose, I'm going to come on here and I'm going to go nuts. But to win this game in Dallas, Dallas has been playing better. Their record of late has been very good. They're still in the hunt. They're trying to make a run at LA. So this was a good win. This was not a typical win against a sub 500 team. This is a win against a team that's been playing much better. Their superstar is back healthy. The bum Vince Carter is playing better, although he was 3 for 9 and took some of the familiar shots that I used to see him in New Jersey clank. I'm not a Carter fan. I do not look at his tenure with the Nets as a good one, even though he holds some records. I don't like him. I didn't like how when he'd lose, he'd be laughing and celebrating with other teams. I hated Vince Carter. Loved him when he first got there, but after a while became, very angry watching Vince Carter lose and just seemed to not bother him. So happy to see him do poorly. Anthony Morrow, my buddy. I like Anthony. He doesn't play. Look at D. He was 3 for 6, but Nowitzki had 8 for 10. Including a couple of classic Nowitzki shots. Our defense still, there was a point in this game where we just didn't guard anybody. There was a couple of open threes. It's when it was close, when it was back and forth until we pulled away. We're still struggling defensively. I mean, we had a big third and fourth quarter, but, midway through that third, there was a couple of sequences where Dallas got open looks off of switches, screens. Kaman was 7 for 12. I mean, that's Kaman. He shouldn't be 7 for 12. But hey, listen, big win. Darren Williams looks like a stud. They're 18 and 14 away from home. That's the second best record in the East. That's pretty solid. So we continue on. We'll be back for the hopefully a surprising win against the Clippers. If they do win that game, I'll have to do something really special because I have no expectation whatsoever of that game being close. Leave me alone.